All right, we will go ahead and get started here in about 2 minutes as we wait for a few more people to float on in. Hello, all. We're going to wait here another couple minutes as we wait for more people to go ahead and float in. Super excited for today. Going to get started here at about 8:03, and then we'll get into our busy program for today. If you're up, go ahead and say a hey in the chat. Every time you send a message, it helps get us out to more viewers. So please send all the messages. You can spam hello, 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 or ask some questions. But again, we're going to go ahead and get started here in a little less than 2 minutes now. So super excited for today. Lots of refreshing and great updates to be said. So again, I look forward to the opportunity to speak to you all. I hope everyone had hello, hello. I hope everyone had an amazing weekend. I know mine was very productive. Had a lot of good, refreshing updates for sure, and moving a lot of things along. Some great projects are coming to fruition, so we're just going to continue to make things happen. Watching Melania right now. Did you see it? I have not seen it. Where is that available on? I would love to check it out here over the next few days. I heard it's really good. All right, the time is 8:03, and with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started for yet another Martin Memo Monday. Super excited. Amazon Prime included in the membership. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out. Melania movie. Yeah, I heard it's really good. I can't wait to watch it, and I definitely have to catch up on a lot of my other materials as far as watching and listening. Right now, I'm actually watching the President series on Fox Nation. That one's pretty solid. And then they also have like each of the presidents. They have like a 5 to 6 minute video describing the presidents over their tenure and everything. So that's a really good series as well. Obviously, it just gives a little glimpse into what they were doing and some of the scandals and great things that they accomplished. But again, a really good series. I think who am I through right now? Andrew Jackson. Woodrow Wilson. I think that's my next one. So I've made quite a bit of progress. Hello, hello, welcome in. All right, I guess with an audience out there, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to cheers and thank you all for joining today. I know you have much better things to do on your Mondays, but I'm super blessed and thankful to have you included here on this platform and to be able to speak to you all. There's so many political things going on, so we're going to dive into a lot of the hot topics. As usual, please feel free to ask questions and I would be happy to answer them. But something I want to do better on my show is making sure we take time to pray. So I invite you to pray in your faith as I pray in mine. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful day. Thank you for everything that you've bestowed to us. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to speak to all these individuals and just preach to them your name as well as some good politics that are happening. Lord, keep us safe and make sure that we follow in your footsteps and we have the chance to bless someone and to be a light in someone else's world as well. Lord, help us to take our minds off ourselves and more to the wonderful creations that you have created. In your name we pray. Amen. want to do better about that because I used to probably quite a bit, and I just want to make sure my podcast includes that more often here as well. Pops is wearing the same shirt right now. Oh, nice. Yeah, I love it. Great shirt. Great shirt. We have bundles now, by the way. That's a plug to go check it out. But actually, one of my buddies is getting like a military bundle, so it's gonna have like 5 different shirts. Or no, it's a T-shirt bundle, so he's gonna get all of the T-shirts that we currently have out right now. So he's getting that over the next few weeks. He's motivated and loves the Martin Memo, so we have to hook him up and give him some good merchandise. But nonetheless, hey, let's go ahead and dive into it. It has been a crazy political storm lately. I talked to you all a little bit last Monday, but I know the heavy emphasis was on AI because we had Wyatt Johnson on, which is a phenomenal guy, mind you. But we had him on and we focused a lot about AI and more of the infrastructure things. We touched a little bit on Iran, but we're going to dive into that a little more today as new details have emerged, among other things. So I cannot wait to address you all on this. Before we get started, though, I have to give you some updates. So the Martin Memo, we are officially over 8,000 subscribers. Woo! I think we're at around 8,300, somewhere around there. So we're steadily growing, getting out there, getting more viewers, getting a lot more viewership, a lot more view hours as well. So it's thanks to you all for making this happen, contributing on these Mondays, and we're just going to continue to rock with it. That being said, obviously we are growing, and the other platform as well that we are kind of going to be underneath the umbrella of the Martin Media Company that we're founding, that is beginning to really take fruition as well. So I put down the big down payment. My wallet really hurt. But we ended up getting the app. So currently I and a few of the members, we're designing the app right now. And it also comes with a website. So we're going to have an app. We're going to have a website. It's going to be really good. We had to let a few of our contributors go, but we also got some new ones that are going to be contributing to the team that are excellent as well. So that is all coming up here soon. That is coming July 1st, the typical launch date that we've always said. So July 1st, we are launching our app and website. Right now, we are just working on designing it as we speak. We're getting the right colors there. We're getting right images loaded up, all the articles that's the wonderful contributors have created. We're also doing different things like getting our podcast platforms ready, getting the word out there a little more, getting better marketing, materials, all of that. So we are really taking off, and it's great. I was going to go to CPAC in a couple weeks. That's like the big conservative organization. They're having a convention down in Texas. But I decided I think my time would be best served if I just stayed here. One, it saves money because those conferences are not cheap. I got a media pass, so that part was covered at least. But the travel there and then obviously lodging, that all adds up fairly quickly. So I decided not to do that and instead invest that money into some marketing materials, maybe some tablecloths, different things like that, really to grow the brand and to ensure that we can get out there. So yeah, it's very exciting. Super excited for it all. We're going to continue to grow. I do have two new contributors, like I hinted at earlier, that are joining us. So we're going to have a big history corner with Nick Aurora, which I've had on the podcast before. He's going to dive into a lot of the historical aspects from obviously the Revolutionary War to Civil War, wars, everything in between as well. So I'm excited for that. And then we have someone named Reagan Faulkner, who is a guest actually on the Martin Memo Monday, probably 4 or 5 weeks ago now. It's time has flown by. But she's also going to be joining our team, and she's going to be another political insider. But she's also kind of heading up the religious aspect as well. So you're going to have your daily devotionals built into the app like we originally talked about. The big thing, and I don't know if I've stressed this or articulated it enough before, but the big thing that we are doing is we're creating an app that is going to be Christian conservative based. That is going to be the root of our foundation. We're looking at the world, whether it's sports, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, history, science, whatever it is, we're looking at it from a Christian conservative worldview. And that is something that's unique. We have a lot of different other people, like we'll go with the Daily Wire or CNN or Fox News. Obviously, they report the headlines. They do a great job, some of them, with reporting the headlines and giving us the facts, but they never really, it's always skewed towards one side. Obviously, we're going to have a conservative skew, but we also want it to be more Christian-centered. And a lot of times people can go off the rails, so we want it a more godly platform to invite more people in and to do things like that. Eventually, the goal is to launch it on July 1st, so that way we have this summer to where we can go campaign for people who identify within that as a good Christian conservative person. So we can go host rallies with them or potentially help sponsor different things like that. So a lot to look forward to, a lot of work, a lot of missed sleep. Just kidding. I've been doing actually very well on my sleep as of late. But that all being said, we're excited to produce this for you all. I'm joined by amazing teammates. It's only going to get better. Again, we are catering this to you all, so we're just excited to see it take off. This is huge. This has been a brain product that I've thought of for a while, and I'm just excited to see it come to fruition. And again, it's thanks to people like you. As far as cost, it's going to be very minimal, especially I'm giving you guys the scoop right now. If you sign up within the first month, we're really going to knock down the price. Normally, we would be around $15 to $17 a month. For the first month, we're only dropping it down to $5. That's less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. So we're making sure that it's affordable for you all. So sign up the first month to be able to get this. We're also going to offer discounts on our future conferences. We're going to offer discounts and potentially free merch. You're going to have exclusives built within our app. So you want to be a member and you want to join us. But again, July 1st, that's when it's coming. We might do a soft launch maybe a couple weeks before, see if people can break the app so we can fix it prematurely. But again, this is coming to fruition. And now we only have, I think, like 130 or something. I'm probably way off, but roughly 130, 120, somewhere around there days left to make this happen. So thank you all. Thank you all for motivating me. And hey, let's just make the most of it. I'm super excited. Thank you for putting this all in the works to bring us such a blessing to the world. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I love the name, Keeping It Hopeful. That's beautiful, and that's what we aim to do within our company. So again, lots of groundwork to do, lots of work to do, but it is all worth it. What will the app be called? It's going to be called Martin Media. So Martin Media, that's what it's going to be called. It's going to have that logo. I don't know if you all have seen it. Well, actually, this is our official logo right here. I'll do a little bit of a close-up. But it looks a little bit better in person or on a document. The hat does not give it justice, but Martin Media, that is what it is going to be called. Worked again with a lot of amazing individuals. We're going to continue peddling it and pushing it out there. So hopefully you'll see more and more ads in the next coming weeks/months. So we're actually looking at Paramount to do an ad as well, which is pretty cool. But anyways, nonetheless, well, I take a sip of water and recuperate my thoughts and get ready for the next segment. Feel free to ask your questions. I would be happy to answer. I mean, there's so many political things going on right now. So you pick your poison and put it in the chat, and I would be happy to answer it and have some good dialogue here. So by all means, go ahead. I'm excited. Before we dive into the political side of things, I just want you all to know that I noticed that I was getting a little husky. So I decided that I was going to really focus on getting in shape and getting the summer bod ready, right? So I've been doing some crazy workouts. On Saturday, I did something called the Murph. And if you do not know what the Murph is, I only did a half portion because the Murph is actually crazy. By summer, my goal is to do a full Murph. But this is what a Murph is, and then just obviously know that I did half of it. So a Murph is 1 mile. It's 100 pull-ups. It's 200 push-ups, and then it's 300 squats, and then an additional mile. All while wearing a 25-pound vest or a military equivalent IOTV. That's our bulletproof vest, right? So I did that. I am cooked. I am hurting. I still feel it. I did the cupping therapy. You can kind of see one right here maybe, but they're mostly on my back. I am sore. So like I mentioned, I only did a half version of that. So I did the full miles, don't get me wrong, but then I only did 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, and then 150 squats, and I am still tired. I am fatigued. And then today I was like, you know what? It's a Monday. I just got to go ahead and get some more work in, right? Yesterday I did a brief little walk and just exercise, keep the blood flowing. But today I did a mile run. Well, I did it on a track, so obviously 4 different laps. But what I did is on a track, we have like a little stadium. So there's the flights of stairs. So go up and then down, up and then down, up and then down. So it ended up equating to about 50 total flights of stairs that I climbed, which is crazy. And then once I got to the finish or where I started, then I would do 25 push-ups there, all while wearing the IOTV vest. So I am tired. My body is fatigued, but it's all right because I have to stay in shape and make sure that I provide good content, and then also make sure that I can continue doing this. So it is all worth it. But yeah, it's intense. I am definitely fatigued. I am tired. I have earned some ice cream at this point, which I've been avoiding because that's kind of my guilty pleasure, by the way. But anyways, nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into politics today because that is why you all are here. And I'm going to guess, you can do it. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to guess that a lot of you are here, or if you're active in the political climate, you're going to wonder, what about Iran? What the heck is happening with Iran? Is this good? Is this bad? It's tearing the GOP. You're hearing all these different things, right? A lot of conflicting voices, especially in the GOP aspect and side of things. They are just completely laying into the Trump administration, which I feel is unwarranted. So today we're going to break down Iran. We're going to talk about Kristi Noem being fired, and then we're going to pick another couple other topics. But I'm going to start with Iran. First of all, I have remained this position, and I will continue to say it. I am in favor of what is happening. I am in favor. I see you have a question. I'll answer it in a second. I am in favor of this war. I think this is great. However, unless it turns to boots on the ground, then I'm opposed. Immediately, I am done. No. If we can do what they are doing currently, where they are going in, they are striking strategic assets, military parts. They're going after the head leaders. They're going after generals, top officials within the Iranian regime, the oppressive regime, which over the past 6 months, or not even the past 2 to 3 months, has wiped out 40,000 people protesting them. I am in favor of that. I think it's the same approach as Venezuela, where they're going in, they're taking out the oppressive heads of state, and then they're allowing the people, obviously with a little intervention, they're allowing the people to rebuild and retake their own country. This is not, and this is something I see my Republican colleagues doing and my conservative colleagues. This is not a forever war. All right? I hear things that there might be going to September, which I don't think the Iranian regime will last that long. This is not a forever war. And another aspect is we're not going in there and we're not forcing Western democracy down their throats. We're assisting with them to build up their nation, but we're not going full George Bush, full Bill Clinton, full Obama. We're not doing that anymore. We're going in there, we're taking out the oppressive heads, and we're allowing the people to rise up and do what they want. Something that I keep hearing is, why are we involved? Why? Oh, we're just being a tool for the Jews and for Israel. I am against that kind of thinking. First of all, Israel is an ally. They are. They are an ally. Second of all, they are a democracy. Israel is a democracy, and they are in a region that is typically unstable. I had someone kind of debate me on this topic who said that if we left Iran alone, we would have a safer regime, or the fact that we're taking out Iran is destabilizing the region. I don't think that's the case. Iran is a very vicious, evil state. They are. They are horrific. You don't believe me? Ask the 40,000 people that got mowed down because they were protesting the Ayatollah and the government itself. The government. These are not good people. This is not a region that's going to be stabilized while those oppressors are in place. I think this is a good thing. And what I believe that they are going to do to solidify this, to ensure that it all works out well, is obviously they're going to go in there, the U.S., Israel, they're going to liberate Iran, and then they're going to force their hand to sign the Abraham Accords or to do something with that. And then I believe until Iran is fully back to their version of a democracy or what suits them best, They're going to have probably military protection from all the people within the Abraham Accords, and they're going to have different things like that happening to ensure that we don't have another Ayatollah in power. That would be my guess. This is not a forever war. And if it is, again, I'm against that. I'm against any forever war. I'm against any boots on ground invasion. I'm against any of that, of course. But if they can do what they're doing, where they are just completely obliterating their enemies like this by targeting, using precise targets to target the leaders, the heads of the leaders, and the military assets, I am in favor of that. There's a report too, and I just have to debunk this because this is important, and then I'll answer you, keeping it hopeful. The important thing to know about this whole thing is, first of all, they did not, the U.S. and Israel, they did not target a school. I had seen that report that they targeted a school. No, they did not. That was actually a misfire by the Iranian government, the Iranian regime, that they went ahead and announced. But immediately, CNN and other entities labeled it as the U.S. and Israel. They struck a hotel, a school. That is not the case. That is not what is happening. Do not fall for that misinformation. It was the Iranian regime who said that it was a misfire. Honestly, this is a bold take. I don't think it was a misfire. I feel like they did it on purpose initially to try to blame it on the U.S. and Israel. I do. And then when they had seen that, people had seen that we had done that to our own civilians and our own people. Okay, yeah, it was a misfire by accident. One of our missiles just went the wrong way. I think they did it on purpose to try to entice other people and show how bad the U.S. and Israel is. So, my couple quick notes on that before I answer your question. I'm all in favor of this as long as there's no boots on the ground and it does not last forever. I think this is all right. I think this is good. Iran needs to be dealt with. This has been ongoing. It should have been handled 47 years ago. But nonetheless, here we are. I am in favor of this. And I hope that they can go in there. They can finish this within the next couple weeks, right? All right. Let's go here. Do you think the war/conflict, whatever we're calling it, is all political or spiritual, like God placing kings? Then agree currently is strategic with a small risk for loss of soldiers, boots on the ground. Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, like I already mentioned, political, spiritual, I think it's more probably political and just getting rid of an oppressive regime. When you wipe out 40,000 civilians for protesting, that's a problem, obviously. So I think that was maybe one of the straws that broke the camel's back. I think there's many reasons why this all came together. I heard another report that was actually rather interesting, and it was that the dollar was about to get destabilized by the BRICS, which is China, India, Iran, Russia, maybe. I think it's Russia, maybe not. But a lot of those countries right there that were going to overthrow the U.S. dollar as the world currency. So that's why they struck. I don't know if I necessarily buy into that, but that is a potential. Also, make no mistake, America's not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. Of course, they're doing it a little bit. But what they're doing is there's a lot of oil in Iran, so I would not be surprised if the U.S. got a fair share in oil or other assets because of their helping get rid of the oppressive leaders. I would not be surprised or shocked at all. All right. Let's see. Any questions on that topic before we move on, or just any questions in general? You know the rules. You just go ahead and throw your questions into the comments. By you commenting, it helps us go miles and go to new people and wonderful individuals. So the more you comment, the more it helps. So feel free to ask all your questions, even if you think they're silly or not. Doesn't even have to be political related. You can ask me my favorite sub. I don't know. But yeah, feel free to ask anything. I am an open book, and then we'll move on to our next topic, and that is the firing of Kristi Noem, which I have a very bold take on, by the way. So stick around for that. You know what? Here. While I'm waiting on a question, I want to see what you all would be more interested in. It'll be over by the end of April. Yeah, I really do believe it'll be quite quick. I don't even know if it'll take that long. Honestly, they're losing badly. They're hemorrhaging soldiers, honestly, civilians as well. Military power. You had seen like their missile usage, which now they're pretty much just using cheap drones. But their missile usage had started out at like 547, then the next day like 250, next day 125, then 60, and it's like slowly been kind of dwindling down. They're not they're all talk, no bite. That is what it comes down to. The Iranian regime is a joke, and this is great in my opinion. Let me go ahead and pull up my, because I had messaged someone on my thoughts about Kristi Noem. So, all right. Before I do this, I want to hear your thoughts. This is what I meant to say earlier. What should I do a series on? And when I say a series, I mean maybe 3 to 5 episodes on one specific topic. I'm going to give you a couple answers, and I want to see what you believe I should do. So, 1, a deep dive into Maha and the vaccines, the food supply, how tainted the food supply is. 1 on that. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 options here. And then I'll go into Kristi Noem in a second here. But that's my first option. Second option that I want to talk about, that I'm going to allow you guys to pick, we'll do it by popularity here, excuse me. Founder series, talking about the founders, maybe the first 10, or maybe the big 10 founders, from George Washington to Alexander Hamilton to whomever it may be, but Thomas Jefferson, but the top 10 founders per se. Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, doing a whole series on that. So that is option 2. And then the third option that I've been kind of debating on, and this one's actually really fun. It's just really the founders, but a separate version, like how America truly started, and like how the left and right argument came to be, which is actually fascinating, mind you. The left side and the right side, it's a very good one. It actually started in France. Not a lot of people know that, but I can dive into that as well. I don't want to give too much away because that'll be a good one. But out of the people on here, I want to hear, which one should I do? A big Maha series, all the vaccines, all the poison in our food, all of that. Should I do it on the true founders, the Benjamin Franklin, the George Washington, John Adams? And then lastly, should I talk about how America came to be? Not just the founders. This would be the infrastructure. This would be how they set up the government. This would be everything. So I'll let you all vote. Which one do you think I should do? Those are your 3 options. If you have another suggestion, by all means, put it in the chat. But those are the 4 that or the 3 that I'm giving you all, pending any others. So I'm going to go ahead and let you all vote on that for a second before we move on to Miss Kristi Noem. Number 1, Maha. All right, we got 1 vote for Maha. Option 2, all right, we got 1 vote for the founders. Let's see. Can anyone do a tiebreaker or something else? Those were the 3 options. If you need them repeated, let me know, or if you have a different. But a whole series, maybe, again, 3 to 5 episodes going over this. How America came to be. I feel like a lot of people don't know how America is designed to work or why. Great analysis. Absolutely. All right, so we have 1 for each 3. I'm going to need someone to make up their mind here. All right? We have 1 for each 3, so the next one basically wins, whether it's Maha, whether it's the founders, or whether it's the founding of America. So we just need 1 vote to swing one of those 3 ways. Apparently everyone likes those, so insightful as well. All right, so let's see. Can anyone outright say a different one? I'll let you all think on it while I move on here because we have a lot to talk about. But with that being said, while I'm waiting for others to vote on this, we're going to go ahead and talk about Kristi Noem and the firing of Kristi Noem. So, for those of you who do not know, you're right. Maybe why can't I do all three? That's a great idea. I was saying which one we want to do first, though, of course, right? Which one should I lead off with? Maybe I'll do the Maha one to start, and then I'll go into the founders, and then the founding, or vice versa, those two. But I wouldn't do it right in the middle. That wouldn't make sense, Maha in the middle. So I'll do something of that variation. Seeing which one should kick it off, though. But Kristi Noem, on to Miss Kristi Noem. I am not really a fan of Kristi Noem, and I have my reasonings why, and I'm going to go into it today. For those of you who do not know, Miss Kristi Noem, the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, is gone. She is Nick. She will be in the SHIELD now, the SHIELD of Americas. She's one of the ambassadors, sort of say, for the SHIELD of Americas. She is no longer the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. That is now to the great senator from Oklahoma, Senator. Hello. Hello, Sylvia. That is now the great senator from Oklahoma, Senator Mullen. But nonetheless, I want to talk about why Kristi Noem got fired. So obviously, Kristi Noem got fired last week, Thursday or Friday, right? And I am not opposed to this. I actually thought this was the right decision. I predicted, if you remember, about a month ago, I had said that I thought she was going to be the first one fired. Pam Bondi maybe, but I was really leaning towards Kristi Noem, and I have my reasonings why. And the thing that really sunk her ship is what I'll say at the end. So there's several different reasons that I have compiled here. So the promotional spending, she spent $220 million in taxpayer funds on a self-deportation ad campaign that pretty much featured her. It was her riding horses talking about self-deport, which Trump had said to create an ad, but it almost felt like maybe it was a pre-presidential bid ad. I mean, it was pretty much all her just talking and saying, self-deport, get out of America. And when we have an administration that's cracking down on wasteful spending, this to me seems pretty wasteful. $220 million, $250 million wasted on a self-deportation ad. I don't know. I think it could have been done maybe a little more effectively. Maybe you only needed $100 million or something, but $220 million on that is a little ridiculous, right? The other thing, FEMA mismanagement. She imposed a personal approval policy requiring her signature on all contracts over $100,000, which reportedly froze disaster and aid during critical floods and wildfires. You'll remember the big one, talking about the big floods that had happened in Texas that wiped away the little girls' camp. I know that happened about a year ago. A very, very tragic, unfortunate story. A lot of good things, of course, that had happened through that. There was a wonderful Coast Guard member who saved a lot of individuals. But overall, that was a very tragic, horrific story. So that is just one, the FEMA mismanagement. But the big one right here that I can say is misleading Congress. She testified under oath that top aide Corey Lewandowski had no role in approving contracts. However, leaked internal records showed him personally signing off on multi-million-dollar equipment deals. Not only that, they had a sexual scandal that occurred. There was a sexual scandal. She had an affair with him. She did. It's pretty public record, and there's a reason that she didn't outright say it during her hearings. But she was getting questioned on that. The representative was asking her, well, did you have any sexual relations with him? And instead of just saying no, she just said, well, what a horrific question. Why would you ever ask that? Yada, yada. That's just terrible. Why would you ask me that? And then she doubled down. Well, it's a simple yes or no. Did you have a sexual relationship with that man? well, stop asking me a garbage question. This is ridiculous. Yada, 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 right? Obviously, that is a horrific question, but let's just say I was in that situation. I would first say no, and then I would attack the question. I would say, no, absolutely not. I'm not having sexual relationships with that man or that woman. What a ridiculous question. How disgraceful, right? But instead, she immediately just shifts the blame. Garbage question. She doesn't answer it because she knows if she would have answered it, she probably would have been guilty, right, of lying under oath. So that is why I do not like Kristi Noem. Additionally, this was one of Trump's top issues. This was probably, arguably, the most important issue to the voters, and the polling data backs this on why they voted for President Trump in 2024. She helped take an issue that was the number one issue, and it's completely been depleted. And now 49% view his immigration policy as negative, while 40% agree that it is a good thing, that it is positive. So, and obviously, the left wing, I can't blame it 100% on her, because the left wing media has been doing their job, slandering, saying that a little kid was used as bait, which was not the case, saying that ICE is just horrific, and that they're terrible, and just the media optics have been tuned up a notch under her, and I cannot 100% blame her and say that it's all because of her. But the couple examples that I laid out are reasons why I do not necessarily support her, and I think getting rid of her was the right decision. I'm also going to kind of assume and put a bold proclamation out there that this was kind of a bargaining chip, maybe a backdoor deal with Congress, saying, hey, get rid of Kristi Noem. We don't like her. She's incompetent. And then maybe we'll stop withholding the funds, or the government shutdown just for the DHS employees. Maybe. No, that really hasn't come to fruition yet, but maybe that was part of it. But again, that is why I do not like Kristi Noem for the Department of Homeland Security. Those are the reasons why. She was married, he was married, and yet they were still having an affair. Those are the reasons why I did not support her as the Department of Homeland Security. I think it was a lot of bad optics that she has created, and I don't think really anyone benefited necessarily from her working there. Don't get me wrong, obviously, as I say, benefit. She did some good things, right? She really focused on getting a lot of the people off our streets, the illegal immigrants, but I think it could have been done a lot better. And I honestly, I know that we have Senator Mullen stepping in, which I think he'll do a great job. I really like him. I've seen a lot of videos of him, and he seems very up to par for the job. I really thought Tom Homan should have spearheaded it, but nonetheless, I think they'll do a much better job. And I think the big thing is, as much as going after the people in a Home Depot parking lot are important, or going after, the illegal immigrants in the country, there should definitely be a higher emphasis on the worst of the worst, the violent offenders, the drug traffickers, the child molesters, the murderers, all of those individuals, the rapists. But I'm excited for Senator Mullen. That is just why I did not agree with Kristi Noem. I don't think she's a horrible, horrific person. I don't think she's the Antichrist like a lot of liberals and left-leaning people point to. But I don't think she was the right person for the job. And I think that that this is the right move from the Trump administration. And I'd like to point out, and I know a lot of people on the Democrat side like to poke holes and say, oh, look, his administration's falling apart. Oh, look, he's already, there's people already leaving and things like that. First of all, why wouldn't you want a president who calls it out instead of Biden just letting people who are terrible at their job stay for the entire tenure? Why would you not self-correct? Why would you not say, hey, this isn't really working. We're getting bad optics. There's these scandals that are happening. Let's go ahead and put someone else in the position who's going to give a better face to the Department of Homeland Security. Why wouldn't you want that? This is good. This is why the taco arguments are irrelevant and dumb. It's not he chickens out. He makes rational decisions. He may say an outlandish policy, as many may say, and then he pivots and he puts a better policy out there that resonates with more of the American people. That's good. Why would you want someone to double down on idiotic policy? That makes no sense. We have a president who can read the tea leaves or read the headlines and see, maybe that's not really a favorable policy. Let's go a different direction. So for those of them, they'll never be satisfied. First of all, they complain Kristi Noem's the Antichrist, terrible, and now that she's gone, well, now his administration's falling apart. Look at her leave. Oh, this is terrible. Give me a break. Very valid reasons. I never that she was the one for the job, not educated on Mullen. Hope he does well in the role. Yeah, absolutely. I hope he does well in the role. I think he will. I think he'll be a lot better, just from what I've seen and the little bit that I know about him. But again, time will tell, and that is a hard position. The Department of Homeland Security is a very important position, and it's one of the hardest. You're going to get scrutinized regardless, and especially with ICE falling under the Department of Homeland Security, that is a tough position to navigate. But if anyone can do it, I think Senator Mullen will definitely be the person for the job. But I'm curious. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I missed your question there. Unrelated question: how are you celebrating Women's History Month? You know, I have wonderful family members that are women. My sister, obviously my mom, grandma, etc. And they're all wonderful individuals. I love them, you know, but I don't think I'm really going out of my way. I think a lot of these months are a little redundant, but nonetheless. And by the way, you're getting a pre-introduction to what my presidential bid would look like. Because I know people always question, what would you do for the different communities? What would you do for women voters, African American voters, Hispanic voters, etc.? What would you do for them? You know, this is what I've been thinking about a lot lately, and this is how I would approach it. Say, listen, yes, I know that America is a diverse coalition of people, but stop playing these identity politics games. I am a president who would serve for all of American presidents, or for all of American people, excuse me. So regardless if you're black, Hispanic, Asian, my policies are going to benefit everyone and help everyone. Of course, they're going to help black voters just the same as they're going to help white voters. Of course, it's going to help Hispanic voters as much as it's going to help female voters. It does not matter. And that is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to cater specific policies towards a demographic. No, I'm going to lead for all of Americans. So if someone would ask me, what are you going to do for Asian Americans? Well, I tell you what I'm going to do for all of American citizens, because that's who I'm speaking on behalf for. These are my top policies that's going to benefit not only the Asian people, but everyone. That is something that I would say and I firmly believe in. I'm sick of these divisive politics. I think that's extremely toxic for America, and that's part of the thorn in America's side is these divisive politics. Why are you separating people? Why are you separating people based on their gender or their ethnicity or their whatever it may be? Why do that? Bring them all together. This is part of the reason that we have such a diverse and divisive culture right now, is because you put labels on that. Morgan Freeman, love Morgan Freeman, by the way. Morgan Freeman had said it best. He said he did not like, and this is just a little side tangent here. Morgan Freeman had said it best. He said he does not like Black History Month. Oh, wow, how could you not like Black History Month? You're a black man, right? Because he said, why is it limited to 1 month? Do white Americans have a History Month? No, they don't. Why is it limited to 1 month? It should be celebrated yearly. I agree with that sentiment. Why are we putting it to certain months? That doesn't make any sense, especially for that. If you're going to do like National Heart Health Month or something, that makes sense, okay? Right, I'm all for that. But why these divisive politics? Why is it limited to just 1 month? There's things all across the board that black Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, white Americans, everyone has contributed. Why does it have to be limited to just 1 month or just a day or just a week? That's stupid. So that is something that I would preach. And sorry, I know that's a side tangent there, but I cannot stand these divisive politics. It drives me bonkers. And people fall into that trap. People fall for that all the time. Why can't we just say we are Americans united together? Yes, we come from different backgrounds. Yes, we don't all look the same. Yes, I have a penis, you have a vagina, right? Why can't we just say that we are Americans who bleed red, white, and blue? That's what it should come down to. Acknowledge that, yes, we are different, but not play into it. Don't have policies that go directly after one group when you can have policies that directly impact all of America. That is the center of my message when I run for president one day. We'll start small, maybe Congress, and then Senate or governor or something like that, and then president. But that would be the center of my campaign. An America for all, an American for everyone to believe in. Not just me saying, this is what I'm going to do to help you, and then I'm going to basically ignore what I say, and I'm going to do this for a different group. No. Everything, all for all Americans, benefiting all Americans. What are you going to do for the Hispanic community? Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the manufacturing sector, and that's going to create jobs for all Americans, including Hispanic Americans. That is what the message should be. But nonetheless, that was a tangent that I do apologize, but that is something that has been heavy on my heart and that I would preach and that I believe. We are all one people under God in the best country to ever exist. And that is America. But, again, sorry, tangent, but worth saying. All right, let's see. Should have been filled with my pillow guy. Yeah, you know what? I hope he wins the governorship in Minnesota. I don't think so. I guess the cold has just made all of the Minnesotans bitter, or maybe it's the fact that their Vikings have been choking for 70 years or however long they've been around. I mean, you would be purple too if you've been choking for that long. I don't know what it is, but he's unfortunately not going to win the governorship in Minnesota as much as he should be. I really like him, Mike Lindell. Honestly, his pillows, by the way, hot take, his pillows not that great. Love the guy, love the ads. His pillows kind of suck. I had my pillow for a little bit thanks to my parents. I didn't like it. That was not a good pillow in my opinion. I know that may be a bold take, but the Mike Lindell, my pillow guy, pillows are not that good. Let's see. Do you think there should be a Men's History Month? No, there shouldn't be any of these months. And that's another thing that's annoying. Oh, well, there's a Black History Month, so that means we have to have an Indigenous people. That means we have to have a Hispanic. That means we have to... No, stop all of that. Well, there's a Women's History Month. That means we have to have a Gender Fluid Month. That means we have to have a... No. Stop it. I would honestly say no. Get rid of it. The days are, they're cute. They're fine, whatever. Not really in favor of them, but, I don't mind a National Boyfriend's Day or Girlfriend's Day or, a national, Hispanic Day. I guess. Not really. I'm not really in favor for those things. But no. Should be celebrating America. That's how we get more divided. Ugh. I digress. When can we vote for you? 2028? No. I will not be eligible. 2030, I'll be eligible to run for Congress, so maybe then. Probably not. But, yeah, we'll work something out here in the future. Best country this side of heaven. Amen. I hated my pillow too. Pops loves it. Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't comfy. Excuse me. It just wasn't comfy for me. No, I have not listened. You know what? I tell you what. I played his most popular song, I guess. At least it was on the America's top 100. It was, I think, number 2 or 3. I played it for about 30 seconds. I said, cool, and I turned it off. I don't know. I wasn't interested in it. Honestly, again, I haven't done my Harry Styles due diligence yet, so I can't really speak on it. But I think Bruno Mars's new album was pretty good. Listened to a few songs of his, but yeah. Oh man, I tell you what. Sorry, just went off on a couple tangents there. But those are my feelings on Kristi Noem, and that's my feeling on America. Stop this divisive politics. Stop all this crap. Stop these history months. Stop it. No. I think it's irrelevant. I think those things are stupid. But again, we have about 10 minutes here, so go ahead and ask your final questions. I'll be brief and short. I'll give you a good answer, but I'll make sure we take it until about 9 o'clock here. So please feel free to ask some questions. I'll make sure to actually check my time this time instead of going off on a tangent, but some things need to be said. So thank you for listening to me on that aspect. But please ask all your questions here. Which song? Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can pull it up just so I'm not giving you the wrong information here. Top 100. The American Girls. There you go. American Girls by Harry Styles. Listened to it for about 20 seconds and I was like, all right, this is cool. And then I walked away. I'm like, I'm good. So, I'll tell you what I've been listening to a lot to lately, and that's Creed. Creed is I feel like that's kind of a staple within the military community as far as like workouts and just like, going crazy, right? So I've been listening to a lot of Creed lately. Are you ready to get sent to Iran? Well, I don't think I will get sent to Iran, at least not now, and hopefully they nip this in the butt fairly quickly. The position I'm in and the area that I'm in, it would be very tough for me to go to Iran, and then especially with some upcoming plans. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be going, but you never know. We'll put it this way: if I end up going, if they end up sending me, we've probably already lost the war because that would be pretty bad considering the unit that I'm in. American Girls is a banger. What are you talking about? Well, the first 20 seconds sucked. Okay. All right, folks, go ahead. Let's see. We got about 10 minutes here yet before we wrap this thing up. So please ask some questions. I'd love to hear from you all, and just keep them coming. You all help push this out by saying stuff in the chat. You could just spam HHH the entire time. I don't know, but you help push it out. So continue to do that. What aspect of your new app are you most excited about? Ooh, man, what am I not excited about? I guess several different things. I think the religious corner and the daily devotional, I think that's going to be great. I'll probably tune into that every day, honestly. The person that's running it, she's fantastic. I think she's going to do a great job, and we could all use a daily devotional in our life. So I'm excited for that. I really am. I'd say that's probably my favorite, definitely up there. But, I'm excited just to get out there and interact with new people and put good Christian conservative content out there. I think this is going to be great. Super excited for it, to meet with the congressmen and women, the senators eventually, all that different stuff to promote it and to get it out there. I think this is a platform that could be used for generations, and I think a lot of good can come out of it. And I hope a lot of people take something out of it. I can't wait for next year. The plan is next summer to do some conferences. So hopefully we'll be able to do that where we do a conference and talk about a lot of the upcoming things. And, we'll see what happens. But this year, hopefully we'll do a little town hall or a conference for a couple candidates. But again, I'm just so thankful to God for this opportunity, and I'm so thankful to see what he has in store for me and how far this platform can go. We can only go as far as he takes us, so hopefully we can get out there and produce good things to you all and to continue pushing out wonderful stuff. Creed is top tier. Absolutely. Creed is amazing. I've been just jamming out to them lately. Creed is really good. But yeah, they are. I don't know what it is. I was doing that half Murph like I mentioned earlier in the start of this live stream, and I was just like, man, I really want to listen to some Creed. I heard that's pretty good, and I ended up knowing probably 90% of the songs already, but that's just a staple, and I've been every single time working out, I just blast a little Creed and, can you take me higher while I'm doing a pull-up. But, all in good fun. Creed is great. Definitely motivated me and probably pushed me a little bit more. I'll tell you what, after being a little bit lazy for so long, it's been hard to get back into it, but I've been pushing myself probably a little too much. So I got these suction things too, the little kind of suction cup, if you will, to help pull some of the blood and alleviate some of your muscle tension. And honestly, did that a little bit today. They just came in the mail, and they've been great. They're Christian rock. Are they really Christian? I mean, I would believe it because it's all uplifting. I haven't heard really any explicit words in there. It feels very kind of gospel-like, but in a good way. I mean, they're great. Beatles, of course, you're gonna say Beatles. Yeah, you know what? I do love a good Yellow Submarine, among other things. But yeah, Beatles is pretty top tier as well. Sounds like an app that would be great for young adults and adults alike to stay in God's word while taking in truth, not propaganda. Exactly, and that is the plan behind it. The contributors, I'm giving them pretty much free reign to do whatever they want, within reason, of course. But it's really going to be good, and we're really targeting kind of the Gen Z generation. I mean, everyone, but specifically Gen Z, and we want to see a more God-driven Gen Z. And I think this can be an app that really encompasses that. And we're seeing Gen Z, it trends a little bit more towards the conservative religious aspect of things. So we can hope we can harness on that and add to it. And this is an app that they can believe in. I believe in it and poured so much time and money into it. But overall, I really do believe in what I do. And I do believe in the amazing contributors and the amazing team I have. And I'm so blessed, and I can't wait to see what God has to offer. This is going to be a great chapter, going to demand a lot, but nothing good in this world comes with just laying on a couch or without doing something, and you have to start somewhere. So my little quick spiel, well, I got a couple minutes, and by all means, continue sending in your questions here. My big spiel that I want to give today is, do not be afraid to start something new, right? We live in the greatest country to ever exist. I believe all the people on here live in America. We live in the greatest country to ever exist. Take advantage of it. Believe in yourself, It's going to be tough. It's going to require some late nights and early mornings to accomplish your dreams, but by all means, it is worth it. If you are chasing after a nonprofit organization, go after it. Do it, and do it with your heart, and do it with God at the center. One thing that I have incorporated in my company is before we do any meeting, we take a second to pray. I always say, I invite you to pray in your faith as I pray in mine. We take that second just to pray and just have God at the center of everything that we do before we go into the nitty-gritty and the nuances of the business. But take advantage of the amazing opportunities and believe in yourself and try something new. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Believe President Trump, there's like 58, or I know I'm probably way, way wrong, but he had so many different things that he had done as far as real estate and developments, and a couple times he went bankrupt. But that's okay. It is okay to fail. What's not okay is to fail and lay there and do nothing. Look at him. He declared bankruptcy, I believe it was 2, maybe even 3 times, and I could be wrong. Again, I apologize. I know for sure it was at least once, but I believe it was 2 or 3. And he got back up, and he built himself better than ever. So I encourage people to do that. Take advantage of the amazing opportunities that you have here in America. If this business fails, which I hope it doesn't, and I pray it doesn't, and I don't believe it will, then guess what? I will wake up and I will do something else. I'll build this podcast up more. I'll do something else. But I would be happy knowing that I did something and I at least tried, than sitting around doing nothing and contributing to nothing. So do whatever you want to do within reason, all right, within reason, but take advantage of it. If you have a project that you've been putting off or a project that you want to do, go and do it. You're not getting any younger. Go and do it. Contribute something positively to this world and have fun while doing it. If you have a candle that you want to do, go and build your candle or make your candles, right? It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're passionate about it, and as long as you're doing it for the right reasons. That's what matters. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. So thankful I found you from the episode you did with Tamira Neely. You have a great channel and insights. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tamira is great, actually. We were just messaging earlier. We were going to try to go to CPAC together. Obviously, I'm not going anymore, but yeah, she is a wonderful asset. And thank you so much for subscribing, and God bless you. Thank you for sticking around in this crazy journey. But I'm so thankful and humbled and blessed. But folks, with that being said, our closing remarks here before we wrap this thing up. Well, first of all, again, thank you for tuning in to another successful Martin Memo Monday. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday as I talk to someone named Katie Faust. Katie Faust is an upcoming leader within the conservative side of things. She is terrific. We're going to talk about the abolishment of Obergefell versus Hodges. I know that is a spicy a spicy topic for sure. But we're going to talk about that. And she runs an organization called They Versus Them. And it talks about the importance of having a mother and a father at the household, and at the center of every relationship and with children, right? And it talks about the importance of having that stable, how you have the mother who's the nurturer and you have the dad who's the provider, and how it's important to have both, and how the same-sex marriages really do not benefit the kid, and it's actually kind of does them no justice. It hurts them in the long run. And she says this coming from a person who her parents got divorced at 10, her mother remarried to another woman, and she could tell you the psychological disadvantages she had by having two of the same gender at the head of the household. So she explains that and she walks through it. So she has an amazing organization called They Versus Them. So tune into that episode on Wednesday, again 5 p.m. ET. Great episode. She is wonderful. I'm actually going to get involved a little bit more with her and what she's doing. So that's super exciting. You don't want to miss that. And then Friday, we're going to go over another surprise topic. I haven't decided what I want to do. There's so much good material out there. Maybe I'll do a combination of several different things. But, you know, if I'm a betting man, I would probably bet myself to do either the Epstein files, a little deeper dive into that, or to focus to Iran. So with that all being said, hey, all, it is 9 o'clock. I want to thank you all for taking the last hour to spend it with me. I hope you all are doing very blessed today. I hope you all have an amazing week. I cannot wait to see you here again next week, Monday. God bless everything you're doing. If you ever need anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. I love talking to all the amazing individuals on here. And with that all being said, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. God bless you all. This has been another successful evening of the Martin